when I was asked to do it this time, I said, well, look, I can't do. I mean, I couldn't do. I wouldn't want to do a Bond movie that wasn't the kind of Bond movie I liked. I loved the early Sean Connery Bond movies, and I liked reading the books. The Roger Moore films are splendid. I mean, Roger's terrific, but they're not Bond movies. They're comedies, and Bond movies are something about adventure and excitement and thrills. What I've wanted and what I think we've done is we've got back very much to a Bond movie that's very exciting and tense and tough, rather like the early Bond movies were, rather like Dr. No and From Russia with Love were, and very much like Ian Fleming, I would guess, wanted, because his stories were exciting. They're fantasies, they're escapist thrillers, but you must believe them, otherwise you don't enjoy them. We've left the tongue-in-cheek, the comedic, the extravaganza of technology behind. I think we're right back down into adventure time for grown-ups.
I can't imagine anyone accepting Roger Moore playing the part that Timothy Dalton plays in this film. The same way, I can't imagine Timothy playing some of the scenes that we had and we loved Roger so much for. I mean, Roger was brilliant at light comedy, and we wrote the scripts for him to cater for that. Conversely, with Timothy Dalton, we write the scripts harder because he is a much more realistic type of person.
It was really horrible, but that scene was necessary to show the relationship between Sanchez and Lupus, that it was a very controlling, evil, destructive relationship.
But why is it that Lupus, she stays with him? Why doesn't she leave him?
I mean, do you realize what kind of man this is? This is a man with so much control, so evil. You do what he says or he kills you. You're in a tough situation.
She's afraid of her life.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. And she did her first attempt, if you realize. That's the beginning of the film, her first attempt to get away from him, but he still finds her.
Could you ever, as yourself, could you fall in love with a guy like Sanchez?
Oh, no. Oh, no. I would not stand for that. And women shouldn't stand for that, but, it's easier said than done. When you're involved in a situation like that, it's very difficult.
If you found your girlfriend in bed with someone else, would you just say, I'll see you in 2 hours and I'll bring dinner and flowers back for the both of you? No, Sanchez, you have to understand, has a feudal mentality. It's a very real portrait of these men. His most vulnerable point is his woman. So when he whips her and also does something to the man that took the courage to try to take his woman away from him, he gets his just desserts based on that mentality.
Would you do that to your own wife?
Would I do that to my own wife? I couldn't say what my reaction is. I'm as intrigued by, the dark side of human nature as anyone else. I wouldn't go around cutting hearts out and necessarily whipping, although, who knows? Well, Fran Sanchez is based on men from the Medellin cartel, the drug barons, the drug lords. They, today, are the most powerful men in the world. They make probably about $8 billion US a year. If Shakespeare were alive, he'd be writing about Fran Sanchez, based on the characters of Ochoa, Escobar, Noriega. These men, their underlying principle is power. This is power over life and death, political power, power with money, and sexual power. And Sanchez combines all aspects of these power.
Do you think he's realistic?
He's, I feel, the most realistic portrait of one of these men that you'll find in film today. And unlike the previous Bond films where the villain was a larger-than-life character that you appreciated for his bravura, but really weren't threatened by the sense of reality. This is frightening in its sense of reality.
In all the films, he's always had a leading lady. What I think is good about this movie is that our one leading lady in particular, Carrie Lowell, Bond's interest, is very faithful to Fleming and is very modern. He was writing 40 years ago, well before his time. He insisted that the woman in the movie was tough and strong and independent and contributed to the story. Sometimes she was a problem to Bond. Sometimes she was an ally of Bond. Sometimes he had to rescue her. Sometimes she had to save him. But she was worthy of him. And that's what we've got back to, and I think that's good.
And so I've got gadgets from all the films, and of course from The Living Daylights, which was the key ring. And you remember, if you whistle. Yeah. So there, and of course the underwater car. I've only got a model of that. And that really does go underwater.
But in your privacy, can you invent anything?
Good God, no. I know nothing about gadgets. I dislike them intensely.
Can you fix your car, for instance?
Fix it? No. No.
So
no.
you're not in your real life?
I can't really fix anything.
About 15, and I remember, Jesus, it was wonderful. You know, I mean, the cinema in the 50s, or yes, the late 50s, was one kind of thing. Then along came this Dr. No film that shocked everybody, outraged everybody, was thoroughly modern and very exciting. We loved it.
Do you think that you have to take these movies so serious, or is it just pure entertainment?
No, it's entertainment.
Yes.
Of course it's entertainment, yeah. I think as an artist, anybody who's working on a movie, everybody must take their work seriously in order to make it good. I mean, think of a comedian who brings great pleasure and entertainment to millions. You know, as anyone in the business knows, that they're often not funny people. They work very, very seriously on making people laugh. We must take our work seriously, but the movie is there for entertainment. I mean, if there's any kind of moral in it at all, it's that evil is bad and must be defeated.
Timothy Dalton, how has it affected your own life to be a James Bond? You are perhaps, what can we say, the best known male symbol today.
Oh, I think there's a fair few others, you know. I mean, it's certainly true that Bond is very, very popular, extremely popular. It's not affected my private life or my real life very much. What I'd always hoped, I think, has happened. That is, if you treat people the way you'd like to be treated yourself, if you don't go around behaving like a star with limousines and bodyguards and press representatives and all the rest of it, which is just asking for that kind of treatment, people treat you perfectly regularly and perfectly ordinary, because the majority of people on the street are regular, decent people. On a professional level, it's undoubtedly meant much more. Film work has been offered. It enabled me to do a film called Hawks last year, which is a low-budget, non-commercial film, but a film that I loved and I'm very proud of. If it hadn't been for the James Bond, we wouldn't have got financing for it. So on a professional level, it's been very advantageous. On a personal level, it's not been a problem.